Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I have an unbalanced rack, only one vowel. But I have some high-scoring tiles, so I should be able to play through this. I've got NG, so if an I is played, I could have an ING word. Well, no vowels played at all, which is pretty annoying. However, my K can go in front of the Y, so I can play clap for 29 points, which is quite a good score. Let me just see what it looks like down here. 30 points, even better. Okay, I'm going with this, and the rack leaves pretty good. If I draw some vowels, I could be close to a bingo. Now, what about playing clang instead of clap? That's 34 points. I'm going with this. Just the two vowels. And not nice ones in the sense that they're not A's and E's. However, I've got scoring tiles, so I should be able to keep scoring well. A play of hub would leave quite a good rack leave. P is slightly more bingo-y than B. A rye takes nothing at the end. And clang or clap in column 6 was better than row G because clap in row G opened up some useful floaters, opened up a double-double lane, provided access to the triple word square. Clang or clap does none of those things in column 6. Now my B can go in front of the Y. Wow! My opponent bingos, 89 points. Good score for him. What can I do? Well, I'm drawn to the A because my H can go in front of it. But I'm going to struggle to play off the U in that spot. So I can play hip, keeping bunt. £32 points. I can play hipped for 33 points. And I think I will go with this. Well, close to bitumen. But it's bitumen, and that's not good. I'm 40 points adrift. My opponent's on turn. Both my B and M can go in front of the Y. So I could play Muni in that spot. It would be quite nice to get rid of the U and one of the I's. The U hampers my bingo prospects, even though the Q hasn't been played yet. Can't see anything good down from the L onto the triple word square. Except I can, because I have lumbi, which leaves me with the best possible rack leave from this rack and will score well. I would have imbue onto an E, only one E played so far. Great, lumbi remains available. My opponent hasn't opened up anything great. I don't have any vowels for going underneath the J. I have nothing down column 2 going through the J. So lumbi for 30. And that is a good pickup. I've got tension on the rack and probably a ton of other bingos. Hipped does not take an S at the end, nor does a rye. So there may not be any spots for 7-letter plays ending in S. Wow, another bingo by my opponent. But fortunately, I've got a good rack, so I should be able to come back. So what about column 8 ending with an R? I think that's the higher scoring lane. There are no double-double lanes available. So intoners and turnians, but they don't end with an R. Let me run through the alphabet. So I'm considering plays which end in an R. And I've got the IN beginning. Well, that's the intoners and turnians and nointers rack. Snorting. It's maybe a futile exercise. I've not seen anything yet. Okay, so nothing ending in R that I've seen. Do I have any bingo at all? Anything ending in I? Can't see anything. I certainly do have bingos, I'm sure. It's just a matter of looking at the bingo lanes in order of how good they are. So I've considered the 2 triple word squares. There may be something through I and R, but that's going to be difficult to see. So column 3 comes to mind. Do I have anything through the O that will at least get doubled? I have notions on my rack. Well, I was going to say inations, but that doesn't work. Something through the O would have 2 O's in it, so I was going to say snooting, but I don't have space for an ing. Play. If it's got a consonant in front of it. 15 minutes on my clock, so quite a tricky rack here. Column 14 available if my blank was an H, but that would be setting up column 15. At the moment, I've seen nothing at all, although I'm confident that I do have a bingo here. So I have stonking in row F to fall back on. It would be nice to have something through the O. And surely there's more than one, but at the moment I've seen nothing. That looks possible. Nooniest, not good. So that's tension as a 7. That's snooting, which doesn't fit. I'm 100 points behind, so it would be nice to get this right. In joints through an I. There probably isn't too much between a play through the O and stonking, so I'm not going to waste too much time on this or spend too much time on this. Non-suit. Okay, I'm going with stonking. For 63. Pretty good. Florida through an I, and the Eye of Lumbai is available, although that may be blocked if my opponent plays through the R of Cottager with a tile on the double letter square. Can't see anything through any of the floaters in stonking. I do have the F for score. I have an O for going underneath the J. Great, Florida remains available. My opponent's continuing to score well, 47 points for Tsar. So Florida for 66. Close to being a nice rack, but the 2 U's spoil it. I do have the UN beginning. There could be a bingo here. I'm 30 points behind, so I'm still in the game. Tricky to sort this rack out in one go if I don't have a bingo, because I'd like to play off UU and Y. 31 points for my opponent. I need him to slow up. So I've got an A for going underneath the J, but if I played something like Ray or Tay there, I'm keeping 2 U's, which is pretty awful. I could play uncut, getting rid of both U's, but keeping the Y. 24 points, that's something to consider. Do I have anything down column 2 with my Y getting tripled? Can't see anything anywhere super hot for my Y. Well, I could just play U here. I am behind, so I don't wish to expedite the end of the game by turning over a lot of tiles. Both blanks have gone. This rack leave, although it's got a U, is pretty balanced. So I think I will go with this. Have I missed another Y spot? I've got Ryu for only 18, so this is U for 28. My Y can go in front of ER, it can go after the M, but nothing scores as well as here. I draw V and X. Well, the X isn't too bad. Neither tile is bingo-y though, and I was hoping to move towards a bingo since I'm behind. I can play Axe underneath the J. Well, that's been taken. I can play Nix in that spot. But that's keeping V and U. Through an E, I would have Vex. So do I get rid of U and V, or do I get rid of the X? No right answer for that. Depends on what's available in terms of score. So let me see, what does Tix score here? 38 points. Well, that is at least a good score. Let me put this back. 11 minutes on my clock, 29 tiles in the bag. So it's good to have an option, a 38-point option. I can play Axe in column 14. Do I have anything which goes after ZA? No, that's a shame. Do I have anything in column 8 down onto the N? Can't see anything. Anything through the O? Maybe placing the X on this double letter square. So an OUX play. Can't see anything. So Nix or Tix? I quite like keeping the N for UN. Though RT goes well together, and there are only 2 T's left. Tricky. My U can go between G and Y. So is there anywhere for XU? What about... No, that doesn't go there. Rux, not good. Can't see anything through the C. Okay, I'm going with the 38-point play. It's quite nice to score this many points for just 2 tiles. Well, the rack moves further away from a bingo, drawing an F and an H. However, I've still got 2 vowels, and now the U is looking less of a problem, given my vowel shortage. And the high-scoring tiles should enable me to keep scoring. Great, finally my opponent has slowed up, just 14 points, so I'm now 37 points behind. How can I score well here? Just looking to see if I've got anything which goes after ZA. I still don't. I've got an H for going after the C. That's a bit of a poison chalice because almost any vowel goes after it. I can't see anything ending with N. I could play Hauf across the top of Stonking, H-A-U-F. It does take an S, I think, so that's not great with 2 S's to come. What about playing through some of these floaters? Let's have a look at this. Firth, 30 points, which is nice. It's good to see a big figure of 3 or more. Firth doesn't provide anything amazing for my opponent. The rack leave is balanced. I'm splitting up U and V. Can I do better? Just looking again above stonking to see if I've got a 5-letter play. Something AU, something, something. Can't see anything. I think I will go with this. More horror. However, still 2 vowels, so I will have options. But really unclunky, unsynergetic rack. I'm 7 points behind. Remaining tiles, super bingo-y. A ton of E's out there. 2 S's, pretty balanced. Almost no high-scoring tiles, just the M with more than 2 points. And only 11 points for my opponent. This is good. However, he has opened bingo lanes. But I've got a V, which can be used as a blocking tile. I'm immediately drawn to the triple letter square because of its scoring potential. So I could play Gov here. 21 points, which will take me 3 points into the lead. It's not a great rack leave. It doesn't take out both bingo lanes. I don't think I can do that. But it does place limitations on row D as a bingo lane. And with the B and the P, I may be able to win without bingoing myself. Can I do better than this? Only 21 points. I don't have anything which goes after flood for playing in column 8. Can't see anything in row D that's good. Can't see a way of putting my B or P where the G is without giving away access to the A8 triple word square, which would not be a good idea. I'm going with this. Finally, some E's. I think I've just had the 1 so far for Florida. Balanced rack. Remaining tiles very bingo-y, possibly vowel heavy. My opponent does bingo. That probably kiboshes my hopes. So row A is a bingo lane for bingos ending ES. Seven tiles left. I do need a bingo. So what about playing... Wow, look at the E's left. Look at the vowels which are left. 10 vowels out of... 10 vowels out of 17 tiles. So there are 7 consonants, but there aren't. There are only 4. 10 vowels out of 14. So there are only 4 consonants left. But if I play off 2 vowels, for example, Q, for 15, then I'm keeping B and P, which are unsynergetic. And the floating E is unlikely to be useful with all these vowels. So 5 minutes on my clock. Maybe a play of bow somewhere. So I could play bow above the top of strand, opening up column 15, because bow takes an S and a T. The downside of that is that I don't have an S or a T, and my opponent probably does. My P can go after Tsar. So I could play PEA down here. 32 points, which is a good score. Rackley fairly balanced. If I draw the S, then I have sole access to column 15, which is an advantage. If I played Bow, then the S and the T provide access to column 15. I'm not playing off the U, but I think I quite like this. And I draw the S. Fantastic. 4 tiles left, and my opponent could be sitting there with 7 vowels. I don't have a bingo with this rack. Very close to 2-1 though. He may be worried about column 15. My S, though, is useful in column 15 and also for going above Oder. I've only got 3 minutes on my clock. Have I overlooked any floaters? None of the tiles in a strand floaters. Great. My opponent has tried to block the S, but it doesn't matter that he's taken out the triple, because any bingo will be good for me. I'm certainly within bingo reach of my opponent. 2 tiles left. So how do I maximise my bingo chances? It doesn't matter if I play off 2 tiles, if I then have a bingo that can play in 2 spots. I'm likely to draw an I, so I should factor that in. If I play off 1 tile, can I do that and have a guaranteed bingo in 2 spots? Only 3 minutes on my clock. So if I play my U off, I've got ES for making Ego and Soda. Do I have unbeseem? I think I might have a bingo straight away. Unbeseem. I'm going to try this. I think it's good. And if it is, it'll be interesting. Because my opponent is 52 points ahead. So this will put me 13 points ahead, and I'll be drawing the last 2. And yeah, I'm just checking that this is the highest scoring placement of this. I could place it 1 square below. I'm going with this. It may come off. I can see what my opponent's got. He's got 3 eyes. Just waiting for this to be challenged. I've got a 13-point lead, which may not be good enough. So I have, if this stays on, I've got EI. Oh, I thought that was a challenge. It was just another message. And I've only got 2 minutes on my clock to find the best spot for it. So I've got I'd for 8. I don't have a 2-letter word on my rack. Just scanning the board. It'll be painful if this comes off now. So I haven't seen anything better than I'd, which is annoying, because 8 points, not very much. However, I will get something on count back. 2 minutes 20 seconds on my clock. REI doesn't work. EO not good. Can't see anything with the H. SEI is good. That's 8 points. Maybe I should be a bit more methodical here. My opponent hasn't challenged this, which is good. So at the moment, just 8 points. Just looking for anywhere that I can go out in 1. I'm not coming up with much. So I've got 2 spots for 8. It might be good enough. Such a shame I don't have anything with any high-scoring tiles on this board. Maybe I do and I've overlooked it. REI is good, PE isn't. A G is good, but I can't play the I. Nothing goes in front of P. I'm not looking for what my opponent can do. I've got very little time. I'll consider the board after he's played. What he does is completely out of my hands. So SEI and IED. EIN, not good. My opponent's got 11 minutes. I've got 2. HIEL, not good. Shiel is. Okay, only 9 points for my opponent, which is good. So I think I'm going to win this. If I play IED here, that's 8 points, and I'll win. Has my opponent provided anywhere for IE? Nope, he hasn't. Just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which he does. And the final score, 436 to my opponent, 454 to me, a winning margin of 18 points. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first. Nice rack. No bingo. He plays rye. So this was my rack. And gosh, plank. I didn't see that for 37. I eventually got round to seeing clang, but plank would have been slightly better. Great rack for my opponent. He finds the best bingo with ISO lead. My rack. Phi, J9. Wow, pretty nice. Burning the P and the H. What did I do? Gosh. So all I needed to do was put the P in front of the H and not play the T for more points. Yeah. So Phi would have been better. Opponent plays Joko. Now I have Lumbai, which is a great play for sorting out my rack. The rack lever is really nice. The score is good. And the rack initially looks pretty dreadful. So Lumbai, I think, is the play there. Super play by my opponent, Cottager. Now this was my rack. I played Stonking. N1. Anti-snob onto the B. I didn't consider plays through the B. That would have been nice. Instead, Stonking for 63. So I slipped 9 points. B14. Yeah, Tonish, that's what I didn't want to play. To make a CH word. Too easy to play in column 15. Scontion, F3. So that was the play through the O. Scontion. Also Tondinos. And then you're down to Stonking. But if I had spotted the O play, it was only a few more points than Stonking. So anti-snob, possibly a miss in that. It may have been better. However, it's opening row O, so probably not much between them. Stonking doesn't really open anything. Opponent plays Tsar, and I have Florida, which is a nice play to have when you're 100 points adrift. Straight from the bag. Opponent's rack, he plays Web. So I'm still 60 points behind, and I'm stuck with 2 U's. I play U for 28. I think that's fine. Nice rack for my opponent. He's got Olivers and Violas. And Vertisol is the playable bingo. Very difficult to see. He plays Jive. And my rack deteriorates, and I think it continues to deteriorate. So I'm 60 points behind. Not a great board for bingos. And I don't have a bingo-y rack anyway. But I play Tix, which is a decent score. My opponent has the Q, and this is the point where he first starts to slow down with just 14 points. My rack gets worse. But I have Firth for 30, which is good. Favour also playable through the O, keeping HN. Yeah, that's quite nice, getting rid of the U and the V. Firth scores more and keeps a vowel, although there are a lot of vowels to come. So probably not much between those. Nice rack for my opponent. No bingo. He plays Flood. And I'm now just 22 points behind. But I have a very non-bingo-y rack. Pav, B6. Yep, that's pretty good. What did I do? I played Gov. Probably not much between those, except look at the score difference. 6 points more for Pav, so I think Pav was the play there. And Pav, interestingly, would have stopped my opponent's play of a strand because AD does not take an A underneath it. However, PO does take an A, so he would have had a strand 1 square to the left for more points. E9, a strand also playing above the G of stonking, so I wasn't going to stop him from bingoing. Now, things not looking good for me at this stage. Just 7 tiles in the bag, including a ton of vowels. Only 4 consonants to come. And I have a pretty non-bingo-y rack. I do get lucky, but this was a really problematic rack to deal with. I was not feeling hopeful at this point, and I played P, keeping Bennu, and Bennu is not a great rack leave. I feel I need a bingo, and Bennu is not a bingo-y leave. However, what P did do was open up column 15, should I draw an S, and I did draw an S. My opponent has a horrendous rack. He plays C, and now look at that, unbeseem becomes playable, and that's just fortunate. My rack leave, Bennu, was not bingo-y. Not only did I draw an S, but I also drew tiles which made a bingo through a floating E, and my opponent provided a floating E, so that was a stroke of good fortune, but unbeseem, a tricky bingo to see, so I'm delighted to have spotted it, and that really changed the game, because suddenly I have a 13-point lead, and my opponent is in trouble. The best he could do, not very much, because he's 13 points behind. Even the highest scoring play would have given him a 4-point lead, and I had a guaranteed 8-point play on different sides of the board. At the time, I didn't think 8 points was great, but having it playable in 2 spots and my opponent having such dismal options guaranteed me the win. Anyway, he played Inia, and these were the 2 8-point plays, and that was the end of the game. So pretty exciting stuff. The highlight certainly unbeseem, a bingo out of bleakness, right at the death, which tilted the game in my favour and gave me the win when I thought I was heading for a loss. And let me just scroll back to see what's happened to my rating. 1901, so I smashed through the 1900 mark. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you next time.